So I had the idea and I thought it was great, and I took it to my boyfriend at the time and said, babe, I have this great idea. Here I am today with an entire product range, all named after things I probably said to him. Our best-selling style is called Don't Call Me. A second best-selling style is Too Little, Too Late. Use your imagination.
I started in a coffee shop. You heard my story, and it was just me there with a laptop with an idea and a vision, and I just had my son Antonio, so he was like 3 months old when I said, okay, I would do it. And everyone will say, you're crazy.
Everyone thinks it's crazy until it works. And to quote like a really like culturally historic woman, Charlotte from Sex and the City, I choose my choice. You know? I choose my choice.
Hi everyone, I'm Maira Genovese. I'm the founder and president of MG Empower. MG Empower is a fully integrated marketing powerhouse. And this is another very special episode of our Influencer Marketing Uncover podcast. And welcome for all of you that's listening us once again. I can say this one will be a glowing episode. We have today here in person for the first time at our MG London headquarters, the talent, celebrity, makeup artist, content creator, and entertainment talent, and radiant 21 weeks pregnant, Holly Connolly. And to lead this episode by my side, I could not have asked for a better co-host. It's Carmela Contarino, our talent manager for our MG Talent division here at MG Empower. So welcome, Carmela. So it was about time for you to be my host, my co-host, right? And with this special guest, come on.
Yes. Thank you, Maira. So happy to be here co-hosting the Influencer Marketing Uncovered podcast with you for the first time. And I couldn't be prouder, though I probably sound a little biased as I am your talent manager. One of our great MG talent members, Holly Connolly.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Holly is a true example of commitment, hustle. What I love about her the most is that she's not afraid to be herself in a world that constantly asks us to maybe sometimes not be.
This is true.
But you're such a joy to work for. I think it said work with here, but we all know who's working who. But as you said, she is a celebrity makeup artist looking after the likes of Stranger Things, Millie, Bobby Brown, Fleury, just to name a few. Yes. But I think what's most amazing is that she is an entrepreneur and a founder of her own business, HJ Lashes, which is a false strip eyelash company designed especially for makeup artists. And today we are going to talk about women in leadership, empowerment, entrepreneurship across the social media and entertainment space. Very exciting. So let's begin. Welcome to the Influencer Marketing Uncovered podcast and to MG Empower, Holly.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
That was quite the intro, babe.
That was quite the intro. I think I better go. I feel like I'm in the wrong place.
I mean, I don't think we can fit in here anymore with your head. You know, it's taking up all the space.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to be able to talk so openly and freely about what I do and, you know, a little bit of background about me as well, which is all really great fun.
Amazing. I'm so delightful and so happy to have you both here with me today. And this is very special because, as I said, it's the first time that we're doing our podcast in person. So it could not be more special, right?
Yeah.
So, Holly, to start with, I'd love you to, start giving a little bit of introduction of yourself to our listener and tell us, how you started and a little bit about you so then we can get the conversation going.
And I'm listening, so make it showbiz. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Let's go.
The pressure is on.
The pressure is on.
Yeah, so I started in makeup probably about 5 or 6 years ago now. And I actually broke into the scene in a way that most people don't. I got very, very lucky. A very good friend of mine from school got in touch with me and said, oh, I need you to come and do this makeup job, blah, blah, blah. Are you available? It's in London. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll be there. Really looking forward to catching up, you know, seeing your mum, your sister. Wow. So I get there and I'm like, this is great. I thought there's lots of cameras around. I thought this is a bit odd. Anyway, as I get to the room, I'm in the hotel room doing the makeup. And then the next minute, the girl tagged me in a photo, the client. And by the time I'd got downstairs, I had about 10,000 followers. I mean, the girl I'm talking about was Millie Bobby Brown. So you can imagine at that point, God. I'm like in this whole build-up of this whole scenario thinking, who is this girl? Like, what have I done? Like,
so you didn't know who
I didn't know who she was.
And have you done makeup before at that
yeah,
point?
I'd done makeup at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but you didn't know that
I didn't understand just how famous she was. I think that was the key to the story. And it got to a point where I was literally gobsmacked because I remember driving out and there's paparazzi everywhere and I thought, what have I missed here? Because I remember being in Spain with Paige, who was a really good friend of mine, her mum Kelly, and Kelly was pregnant with Millie just after we left the UK. So I think I only really managed to meet her once or twice. So this is like 16 years later. And I thought, what the hell? How's that happened? And that really is just time and friendship just catching up with us. And it was great fun. So then my career literally evolved from Millie into the stratosphere. She gave me a huge amount of exposure, which I can't thank her for enough for that. Yeah. And I ended up working again with Fleur and huge names, lots of reality TV stars. And as I began to work with more people, my talent, you know, expanded and grew. And it was then I decided that out of all the things in my product, all the things in my kit, the product I loved the most was eyelashes. And also having a business brain, I thought, well, my eyelashes, buying them cost me the most. Yes. So I'm thinking, how can I save that cost as well as make more money? Yeah. So that was when I looked into designing my own eyelashes, selling my own eyelashes, incorporating them into my service, and the rest is history.
Amazing, right?
Yeah. Do you know, it is amazing. Yeah. But when you did Millie, like you said that you got 10,000 followers like straight after
literally
posting you. At that time, you're using your Instagram as a window to show your work, or
back then, I'm talking about maybe even, let's say 10 years ago, Instagram was not what it is now.
Okay.
I used to use Instagram to talk to my mates, post pictures with my friends. Yeah. Now, my Instagram is a reflection of who I am as a person. Okay, which is my brand, everything I do reflects me on there. And at the time, I wasn't taking social media seriously. I had no idea what I was doing. And I think as well, I was young, naive, and just interested in making money. That was all I cared about. Okay. And now when I look back, I think, I wish I'd probably taken more time to do that. But everything I have learned has always been through experience, whether it's a good one or a bad one. And without those experiences, I'd never be where I am today.
We talk about that, right? Yeah. Just literally 10 minutes ago.
I think the thing that annoys me the most about that story is, or how women always describe their path in business, is the first thing they say is luck. Yes. And yes, okay, we're all very lucky. But what we dismiss is that luck really is preparation that meets opportunity.
True.
Okay? No one just gets lucky. And if you do get lucky, you need to have enough behind it for that to be something.
Yes.
And that's the stuff that we sort of just, I don't know, we either apologize too much for, or we just skip over really quickly and then have to fill the space with all these other words. And I just know that personally, being in boardrooms like this a lot in my life, men don't describe their careers like that.
No.
It's so true. And the idea that what I love the story is, like you're saying, that the eyelash, your own brand, came from a vision that you had as we were doing your makeup job. And because like this is very entrepreneurial kind of mind, right? And then to what Carmela said, sometimes we as women, we are not as valued as women that can be entrepreneur, that we can have ideas, that we can be businesswomen, right? So it's just that this is preconception that this is for men. We are just there to do a work, but we cannot drive a business or create a business.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me, like, there was an idea, then did you have the idea and then you just immediately said, I will go for it? Or how was the process of having the idea to actually taking action and executing? Do you have the support? So,
Tell her the real story.
yes.
I don't want the PR answer. I want
That's why I love to have a talent manager here, right? So tell me the real story.
So I'll start from the top. So I had the idea and I thought it was great, and I took it to my boyfriend at the time and said, babe, I have this great idea. I really want to try this, blah, blah, blah. And his response was,
See?
eyelashes? Like,
Who does wear
who
eyelashes?
does that? Why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. It's never gonna work. Those were his exact words.
Gosh, okay.
It's never gonna work. And I was like, oh, you know what? That really knocked my confidence. And I thought, wow, okay. I said, okay. I did it anyway.
Okay, so you did it anyway.
I did it anyway.
So you didn't take that.
I didn't take it.
Okay.
I didn't.
No.
And, you know, at the time, I thought, oh, well, you know, he's right. He knows about business and, you know, he knows everything. You know, he must do. He's a man. And now I think, what? Like, why the hell did I ever listen to him? And I'm so glad I didn't, because here I am today with an entire product range, all named after things I probably said to him.
Wow. All right.
Which is great.
Our best-selling style is called Don't Call Me. A second best-selling style is Too Little, Too Late. Use your imagination.
God, that is,
Again, everyone thinks it's crazy until it works.
yes,
That's it.
Right?
so
Wasn't
true.
everyone in this room told, are you sure?
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
will doubt you.
100%.
Everyone will stop you, hold you back until it works. And then, as
It's
they
too late.
say, yes, it's a little too late.
Too little, too
Everyone
late.
wants a slice of the pie once it's cooked. No one wants to be in the kitchen making it actually happen.
So true.
100%. And did you feel like throughout the journey, because we talk about like, okay, so a makeup artist that has a lot of, you know, big celebrities as a client, did you feel that the fact that you're a talent, an influencer, and a makeup artist, that was stopping people to believe on your potential? Because there's this preconcept like, oh, that talent, that influencer, or that makeup artist, or that, you know, hairstylist, they already have 30,000 followers, 100,000 followers. So they're just doing this because they wanted to make more money. It's not organic, it's not authentic. So how do you sell that it is a very organic, genuine, authentic brand that is dear to your heart, and you're doing this not just because you wanted to make more money? What's like, how do you pass that to your audience that it's not just one more brand?
Yeah, of course. I think, well, in my experience with HJ Lashes, they are a reflection of me and who I am as a person. And my whole breakup and experience with my ex and everything that I went through, I think it's very clear when you go online and, you know, read a little about the story and the background of it, that it's a very relatable topic. And I think what I wanted to show in my branding was that this is an inclusive product for every woman. Our slogan is "One style suits all." And that is because it's for women of any age, race, you know, background, whatever you are and wherever you come from. There's no holds barred here. And I think for me, I mean, the most important thing was reflecting my relatability as a person and keeping people interested. And that's progressed with me as a brand and as my identity online as well, where, you know, some days I'll look like Jennifer Lopez and other days I'll look like Beetlejuice. So there's really no in between, where I want women to look at me and be like, oh yeah, she looks beautiful and her lashes and she looks great. And then other days she's like, oh, she's also at home with a hangover and she's had 14 coffees today. I can relate.
Okay.
Yeah, and also being aligned with a celebrity doesn't work all the time. And we know that full well. You got lucky the first time. But I mean, again, let's be really honest. I've said, could you do makeup for some of the people that we have on our talent roster?
Yeah.
And what was your response? It doesn't always work. It does not benefit me dealing only with celebrities.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because the truth is, if you are business minded, there needs to be more behind it.
Oh, yes.
This
100%.
cannot just be about who your famous friends are.
Yeah.
It's not at all. Because when I started, I was a talent manager of one of the biggest.
I listened to your podcast on the way in.
An influencer in Brazil, like Camila Coutinho, which I'm super, super grateful to her. And people say, oh, you're lucky because you started with Camila.
Yes.
And Camila opened a lot of doors for you because Camila was posting you. Camila was telling the world who was her talent manager. I was like, yes, I'm very grateful to Camila. And I've learned a lot with her, but this is not just lucky. This is like, there's a hard work behind, there's a vision behind. There's just so much. How can you use luck into your favor, if you want to say like that? But it doesn't mean that luck will make you successful, right?
Not at all.
Very true.
Not at all. And we have to be so careful as women because we're being scrutinized left, right, and center. This world was not designed for us. We have to push every day we have to push harder. We have to work harder. We have to even emotionally be harder around the edges. I think the thing is that we have to recognize, and the advantages that we have with that is that the landscape of business is always changing. It's not
changing,
linear. But as women, because we've had to learn to adapt our whole lives to sit at the table, that is where we are always in front of the curve. Because if something changes, we know how to work with that. Where,
so
dare I
true.
say, other people, genders, haven't had to always be that flexible to be at the top of their game. But
it's so true.
You have.
So
Could you
true.
talk us through some of the really challenging moments and how you sort of really transcended that?
I was not expecting to be put on the spot.
We want to know.
There's a lot of challenge, right? Because if I tell that it's just one, I will be lying. And it's so funny that sometimes, like, especially now, like, that we have this amazing office and, like, the number of employees that we have now. I started in a coffee shop. You heard my story, and it was just me there with a laptop, with an idea and a vision. And I just had my son, Antonio. So he was like 3 months old when I said, okay, I would do it. And everyone would say, you're crazy. You just had a baby. Like, what are you doing? Right. So you worked so hard to be where you are today. Because when I moved to London, my dream was to work in a luxury retailer, a luxury department store as a marketing director, PR director. And, I went to work in pubs and bars and clubs until I got my first job as intern at Alexander McQueen. And when I got to McQueen, I was like, okay, now I'm in, but how I'm going to make it through it to go to where I wanted to be. And then it was like, the story is like 12 years, right? Story to get to the position that I was. But then I gave up everything because that was not making sense for me, because I started feeling that the luxury, the fashion was too shallow. And it's so funny because when we are younger, we have dreams. But then when we conquer that dreams, you go like,
not for me.
Not for me. But it's good. At least I tried. I saw it. But then I was like, I wanted to do something that has more, meaning, purpose. And
Can I just add to that quickly?
Yeah.
Also, as women, and in terms of like what we were just discussing, I think fulfillment and happiness is quite crucial to that comment. Because sometimes we get so far and then we're like, right, what's next? What's next? What's next? When does it stop? And I think it's harder for women as well, because not only do we have that in our careers, but in our personal lives. Because we're like, I've met this guy, right, now I need to get engaged. Now I need to get married. Then you get married 2 days later.
When are you having
kids?
kids?
When are you having a baby?
And if you say, I don't want to have a baby, so now when I have one son, you know what the question that
when
I
are you
get
going to have the
most
other baby?
are you planning to have the second one? When are you
it
For
doesn't
goodness sake,
stop.
you
It
know,
doesn't
like,
stop.
It doesn't stop.
No,
it's just
it's
like
ongoing.
it's ongoing,
Yeah.
But
right?
there's always that sort
Always
of, I think
something.
especially for driven women as well, we're always looking for the next thing
Yeah.
and moving forward. Like,
Yeah, because it's called evolving.
yes.
And that's all we know
Yes.
how to do.
Exactly.
Is evolve and grow and be
Absolutely.
better, because we
Absolutely.
don't get the opportunities that everyone else does.
That's it.
So again, we
100%.
have to make sure we're always switching it up, just in case, again, they're coming for us
Yeah.
and saying that we're not right for this, that we don't deserve this, that this is
Yeah.
not for us.
Yeah.
We're constantly on guard. And the thing that I found that's the most difficult is that if you don't have the things that are traditionally provided for women, even though we constantly keep on getting asked,
Yes.
what's next? Being a successful woman and having a career that stands for something is almost like I've settled for that. That's not what I've strived for.
Yeah.
That's what I've settled for. Because if I don't have the things that traditionally were set out for me,
Yeah.
have I really succeeded?
Yeah.
And
so
you know,
true.
that's terrifying
Yeah.
for
That's
women
terrifying.
in general.
It's
And to
terrifying.
quote like a really like culturally historic woman, Charlotte from Sex and the City,
Yes.
I choose my choice. I choose my choice.
No,
This
100%.
isn't by accident.
Yes.
You know,
No,
this
it's not-
we're
it's
not
not-
here by
No,
accident.
you're not here by accident. But I think, like, to answer to your question, I think the challenge is just all the time people saying to you that you cannot do it, that you
Yeah.
cannot make it, right, for several reasons. Or even before MG Empower, and I moved to London, I was like, why are you moving to London? You don't have passport. You don't speak English. How are you gonna work? You're gonna fail. So and then you come and then you start looking for a job. You cannot get a job because you're not from here. You're a foreign. You don't speak the language. So it's just like finding people throughout your journey that's gonna say, you don't speak English, you're not from London, but I will give you the chance.
Yes.
You know, it's just like,
Yeah.
I know you're passionate. I know you wanted to make it. So I think that is the challenge, is like finding people throughout your journey that's going to give you a hand and say, you don't have this, you don't have that, but I will give you the chance. And I call these angels, right? Because I think we all have angels,
Yes.
but how to identify them, it's crucial as well. And I think MG Empower is, for me, is a reflection of all the angels that I had throughout my career. Because what I wanted to do now with this business, much more than achieving my targets, having the incredible clients that we already have and the best talents that we represent, is like, how can we, as a business and myself as a founder, to give back
Yes.
to my people? And give back is just like, how can I empower dreams with the people that we work with?
I love that.
So I think it's just, you know, and inspiring people at the same time, right? Because I think when we achieve a success, and I don't say like, I still have so much to achieve, but not because I am ambitious and I want more this or that. It's because I do want to do more for people, right?
Sure. Because
And-
as women, we also
Yeah.
are,
Nurture.
we are wired
Yeah.
to give and not to take.
Exactly.
And that is our greatest superpower
Exactly.
that people try to dim. Actually,
Yes.
they try
So
to
true.
take that superpower away from us. They say that that's the reason why it won't, that you won't be where you are.
Absolutely.
But actually, we have to go against the grain. We have to fight these challenges that are put in front of us.
100%.
People think that that's what makes
I love the code word is people.
I think people think that that's what makes us soft, when actually, like you said, Carmela, that is our superpower.
Yeah.
And something that is a driving force, especially as a team,
Yeah,
is something
totally.
that should be
And tell me, like, because like you're constantly on social media, of course, is your channel. You need to talk about, I love this, that like I show who I am, right, during my content, and I wanted to people that followed me to feel the authenticity coming through my content. So how do you engage with your community? How do you listen to them to actually help you to create content that's going to resonate to your audience? So how do you It's more like the question is like, how do you have a relationship with your community? How do you see that?
So obviously, like I said, apart from being totally relatable and totally honest with my community and everything, I think when I started to become more and more honest about life, things that were happening to me in my life. So when I was diagnosed with POI, which is premature ovarian insufficiency, back in May, June time this year, when I posted that online, that was actually a plea for help from me.
Wow.
Where I'd been on Google, and Google is already a very scary place.
Yes, a very scary place.
But I remember my husband pushing me, saying, Hol, if you're not going to get it online, try with normal people. He said, try and find it with them. So I was really, really scared. And it was actually the best thing I ever did, because I think I'd portrayed this whole life on social media of being a bit of a princess. I got married at the Corinthia. My husband's gorgeous, things like that. And I think people didn't take that so seriously.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I put something quite sad and probably a little bit negative online where people were like, oh, she's human.
She's human.
Okay. And there's a huge amount of women that are also going through the same thing as me, or that I was going through. And I think, again, that resonates with people. And that's where it all sparked, actually, because then I was talking about my body changes and the things I was doing. And
it was the beginning.
Yeah, it was the beginning.
It was the beginning of you.
And I feel like that has actually created my life purpose. And that is to help people online and support and inspire women as well.
It's the again, one of the greatest things about you. But to unpack that more for people who are listening from an influencer level, it's not so much about having to show all these facets as people or as women. It's about adding value to the conversation. When we treat this as a one-way street, when you as a creator are only creating content for yourself and not for your audience, you shouldn't be talking at all.
No.
You shouldn't be creating because that's got nothing to do for anyone. If you change that and you think, where is the value? What am I doing here that's helping someone?
Absolutely.
That's changing someone? That's making
something.
Then all of a sudden we're having a much better conversation. And that was the switch for you, is that when we are not adding, but we can be adding value in so many ways.
So many ways. No, that's incredible. And do you feel like your community, how do you link now your personal life with your career? Like, how do you that shift to, okay,
really good question.
Like, okay, I'm showing my raw side, who I really am, but at the same time, you have your own brand.
Yes.
You are a talented makeup artist.
Yeah.
So how do you then combine all together and continue to be authentic, unique, and to resonate?
Well, let's see if you've been paying attention. Because there's been particular directives.
Oh my God. I didn't know that. I promise. We didn't align that question.
But for example, and let me sort of, it's about the different platforms, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And how you've chosen to put particular content.
Yes.
And how that differs.
Absolutely. I think that's something that we've explored together, Carmela, more than anything as well. And learning about what people actually want to see and what they don't want to see. TikTok has been a fantastic way for me to be able to really be myself and really show off my sense of humor and really have fun with it. Whereas I feel like my audience on Instagram perhaps can be a little bit more serious, which is fine. Yeah. Because initially that was where I announced about my diagnosis and everything else. So I'm very careful with how I sort of share things. Okay. But it's still always very authentic. Yeah. And I think mostly for me, I probably prefer Instagram in a way because, like I've always said, social media is either for learning or earning. And I think if you're able to do both through that, that's a really powerful thing, to be able to turn a passion into a career, which is an incredible achievement, to be honest with you. And I feel most empowered when I'm helping other women. But I think beauty as a whole is something that still resonates because I'm always, it's very female focused, everything I do. my eyelashes, my talking about fertility, everything else. And feeling empowered is when I feel my most beautiful.
Yeah. No, and then I think like you, like for what I'm listening to you now, and of course following you and know a little bit about your career, empowerment or empower your community is not just empowering them by being an inspiration by talking about your personal life, but beauty also can empower us, right?
It is, yeah.
In a way that only us can understand, right? So I think the way I see it is just like you are empowering across all the verticals, from your personal to like how you make it a woman feel beautiful. If we're not like going through, a bad time or going through a period of challenge, you put a makeup on and everything changes, right? So,
but I think there's also a missing trick that we're not just telling women how to be beautiful, we're telling them that they are.
Yes.
And that's the secret.
That's the secret.
We need to ensure that there's more than one way to be beautiful.
Absolutely.
And that's really where I think social media and influencers took a turn, because we stopped saying this was the only way.
Yes.
And this is the only way we do it. We went, what if there's another way? What if we break this down and start again?
Yeah.
What if I show you the opposite and still say this is beautiful? All of a sudden, we're engaged.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And you mentioned about inclusivity, right? And diversity. So how can we be more inclusive through your content, but also through your brand? Because we were discussing earlier, especially now, this new generation, the Gen Zers, so they really wanted to engage with brands that are empathetic, that are inclusive, that, that has a purpose behind. So they wanted to know where the ingredients are coming from. So they're much more savvy in that sense. And I think for brands that don't touch those points, it's going to be more and more of a challenge to engage with the new generation to come.
Yeah. I think mostly in terms of inclusivity, I want people to look at my branding on my website or my social media and say, I can wear this. I would look great in this. I would absolutely hate myself if I saw somebody say or heard somebody say, I couldn't do that because
I don't see me.
I don't see me in that because those girls don't look like me.
No.
What about that first TikTok that went viral for you?
Yes.
And it was for a reason that was not about how you're so very diverse in your business.
Yeah.
It was about what the followers saw behind you and what they were
Love
pointing
that.
out. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So I did a stitch, which is where you join in on somebody else's video of somebody talking about their favorite part of pregnancy or their least favorite part of pregnancy. And I turned around and went, ha ha ha, great question, all of it. Because that's something that I felt like being honest about as well online was something that people really wanted to see. So yes, I've been very lucky in my position to get pregnant and fall pregnant after what I'd been diagnosed with. However,
Wonderful. Very
it still
blessed.
wasn't
a easy journey. Yes.
And everyone will write to me and say, oh, thank you for being so open about this. And thank you for being so honest. I feel rubbish too. I have stretch marks. I have spots everywhere. What do I do? What can I try? Blah, blah, blah. So I feel like then incorporating brands into that and, sharing things about a lady that I've been working with, Zita West. She's phenomenal. And sharing things that she shares. And I think just lifting each other, like it's not hard, is it? Let's just build each other up and
hard
feel great
and
really pushing confidence and building that for other women.
Yeah.
And I think this is that's what I feel like, and I'm very happy to see how social media has evolved
Totally.
on when we started. So you said that you 10 years ago when you first met with Millie and you got 10,000 followers, but I've been working within that space for so many years now. And for me, it's great to see that now creators, talents like you, like we are much more, into the direction of telling real stories.
Yes.
Because we're all human and we're not just looking to creating content that's going to be, an aspirational, but we wanted to create content that's going to be much more towards to the inspirational element rather than just be aspirational.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the shift, that is the beauty of social media, because we wanted to connect. We wanted to be making sure that there are all people out there, they are talented, they're creators, they are successful, but they go through difficult period of time. They go through personal issues.
And who had the ability to do that? Who made that happen? Not people. Not people.
Exactly.
You know, like we are the ones that, because we have all those dimensions, to be able to really put that to the forefront and change the game.
Change the game
So
completely.
much.
I think something else that's worth sort of talking about as well is growth as a woman, where you see things online and you think, that may be what everybody else is doing, but actually that I'm not interested.
I don't want to do it the same.
You know, whether it's a trend or the way people are dressing. And I think I got so caught up in that as a young woman, thinking, oh, well, I need to have blonde hair because everybody else has blonde hair, or I need to have red nails, that's what everybody else does. And now online, that I'm being more myself and somebody who I want to be, rather than projecting an image of somebody that might be, you know, copying Kim Kardashian or whoever else that we aspire to be.
But you have to be the change that you want to see.
That's the change you want to see.
It's impossible otherwise. You can't
100%.
wait for someone to do
So
it
true.
for you.
So true.
No, you can't. And I think it's our responsibility to change that game and to shift that concept, right? So I think we have to be responsible for the type of content that we do, for the type of work we do, how we manage on our talents, because everyone can do anything, right? And there is not a stereotype that we need to follow. We can find beauty in everything. But the social media, when it started, it creates that sense of we all need to be the same. And I think if you wanted to see the change, we have to start from us, 100%.
Yeah.
Holly, Carmela, we can stay here forever, but I have the team saying it is all about time.
No, but we're having so much fun.
I think we need to have the episode 2 of this conversation, right?
We would feel very blessed if we could.
Very, very blessed. Holly, if there's one message you wanted to give to your audience today, what that message would be?
Trust the process.
Trust
the process.
Yes.
Good things are coming.
It's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I love that, because I'm all about trust the process, believe in a vision, and the rest it's story, right?
Totally.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. And thank you so much for coming all the way through. And Carmela as well. And thank you to everyone that has been listening to us today. I hope you enjoyed our first episode, being everyone in person. I love that. I want to do more, by the way. That's a problem now. All my guests need to be flying in.
I'm always free.
Thank you so much. If you're not yet following us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Play, please do so. Thank you once again for your audience. Thank you so much for being with us at Influencer Marketing Cover Podcast. Hope you have enjoyed, and I see you on our next episode. Thank you again, Holly. Thank you again, Carmela. Bless you all. Thank you so much.